one from Cleveland, and one from Columbus. Natalie is generally a painter, and Andrea works in fabric. But this is a collaboration between the two of them, where you can see they just kind of fed off each other's ideas and created a fabric sculpture and the paint. Now, what's really cool is the name. You know, a jam is usually like a jazz thing where it's kind of improvised. This is a landscape. So can you see that we might be in the middle of a landscape? We got the shadows, and I think especially if you look over here at this far wall, the elevators are, see how that moves off in the distance? Yeah. So they're creating a landscape in here using just color and shape and this landscape. Does that make any sense? Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. One thing, just a little aside, which is kind of funny, is as you can tell, we have children over there, and then this also is a studio for children. And for some reason, Reese's keep their candle when they want to walk. In fact, there's a couple little rock pieces, I guess are down in the Dawson's place now because they've been destroyed and had to be put back together. But anyways, it's just a wonderful, inviting area, I think. And let's go back in here further because it's more immersive. And they did want to paint the floor, but for some reason that wasn't going to work, so we just had the carpet. But if you come in, and I really think if you come back in here, and you see how we're now in a whole nother world almost? Yeah. Yeah, people love the colors.
Like you said, warm, inviting, the bright colors.
Yeah.
Happiness.
Right. And the integration, I think, of the different shapes is kind of neat. And if you look over here, you see how the wall flows right into the larger shape? Mm-hmm. Yeah, now this is built around a wooden armature, so it would be really kind of hard to destroy. But, and so I was here while they were doing it. They had this wood that was swooshed around, and then they were putting padding on it, and then the stitches are more for decoration. They remind me of what you see on a baseball or something.
Right.
But it's all kind of glued into the wood there, and then they went back with the stitches. And it just, adds another kind of texture to the surface instead of it just being all smooth.
Do you see a lot of people do like photo ops in this area?
Oh, a lot of selfies. Yeah. A lot of selfies. The problem with selfies is this: I'm going to take a selfie. Whoops,
Back into it.
Yeah. It's just There's, in fact, I have. A friend shared this with me, which I think is. Oh, it didn't get onto here. Okay, there it is. Where'd you go? There it is. All right. Okay. Yeah. So, and you can do this too if you like.
Oh,
we can prove that you were here.
Oh, yeah. We can show them.
Yeah. Show everybody is here. Yeah.
That reminds me
Very
of Pride
popular.
Rock from the Lion King.
Yes.
Picture we've seen
So
many
true.
times on
Right,
social media.
right. Very popular.
Get between the
It
eyes.
looks like the Lion King, like
The
rock.
Pride Rock.
It
Yeah,
does look like the
Oh,
Gosh, I love that.
Yeah.
Yes, it does look like the Lion King Pride Rock. Yeah.
It seems like that.
Yeah. I do.
Yeah. So the other thing I think is important is, remember, Natalie is the painter. And let me just give you an idea. I think it's kind of neat to see what the artists do. This is a painting. So this is Natalie by herself, not working with Andrea. I don't know if you want to. And then this is what I just love. Natalie also does collages. Isn't that something? And I think this is amazing. I would like to see a whole room of these collages.
Ooh.
She works with different shapes, I notice, and the colorful.
Right. So we've got we've got the very organic shapes like we have in here, and then she's gone to more hearted shapes with the collages. And this is kind of fun. Several years ago, she was at Akron and did an installation, but you see that she's painted on concrete, and so she wasn't working with Andrea, so we didn't have the soft stuff that Andrea would be doing. You see what I mean by the
like
difference
she doesn't
there?
have this sharp.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you see the sharp concrete pieces and the sharp lines? Whereas Andrea, because she's a fabric artist, is more into that.
Oh, wow.
So it's kind of a nice evolution. So let's look at Andrea. Come on, let's work. Oh, come on. All right.
Maybe pinch out.
There we go.
Oh, there you go.
That was it, yeah. Hey, yeah, I don't know how to work anything really, and I'm not embarrassed to admit it. Okay, so here's Andrea working. And you see how that's fabric?
Yeah.
But it's kind of like what we're seeing in here, where they executed it in paint. Which I think, and also I think it's kind of cool to see the artist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so here is this wall finished. And I think it's just really neat to see how they reinterpret it with paint.
Yeah, you can even tell like the texture too.
Right. So since Andrea is the fabric artist,
Wow.
we have it done with fabric instead of paint. So I think this really helps get the idea of the integration of the two artists.
Yeah, for sure.
Which
Definitely.
I think is really something to appreciate, and I think this is another one by Andrea, and it's quite large. I just want to take it and make it into a ball, but
Right.
It's like a big yarn ball,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah. So here's another one. Yeah, so that's another piece, and that's probably about 3 feet tall.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's significant. It's not your grandma's yarn ball.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so that's why I just, that's why it's so neat to, does that help you get the idea of how
Just
two
do
women
this,
work
yeah.
together
Yeah.
and just made such a cool environment.
But that context really brings everything like.
Right, yeah. So actually, that's about all there is to this, unless you have other comments or questions. I mean,
How long did it take for this installation?
oh man, Matthew, you know it was at least.
I want to say maybe 3 weeks to a month.
I was gonna say a month.
I think usually the turnaround time in most of our galleries is about a month, 3 weeks. Sometimes if it's bigger, you're seeing maybe 5 to 6 weeks. So we just took down Amanda D. King Locust and Spirit and Matter on the 4th was the last day. So starting the 5th is when they take the pieces down, right? Check them, put them away in shipping containers, make sure they're safe. But the next view in those 2 rooms is our Maryland Stratford exhibition. That goes up the 24th. So that's 18 days to take down and put up. So that's a really quick timeline. But this, with it being that live installation, I think it probably took another couple of weeks. I know they were definitely up against the clock, I think, for some reason or another. But because when you're doing that live installation, things can go wrong. You get the wrong paint color. I know the paint had to be touched up a few times. So that was, that can be time. So.
So I was thinking, if you're not in a hurry, we have a wonderful piece out on the wall here where it's also dealing with color that would you like to learn about? Especially for our museum.
Ooh,
Okay.
bonus tour,
We're
bonus
gonna
tour.
go see some solid wit. Yes. Okay, so I would have taken that part.
So Lewitt, which is very famously known with the
So
museum.
look at it a little bit close up here, because you can appreciate the craftsmanship if nothing else. I don't know if you've ever tried to piece line. Yeah, so it just, let me just, because I got some,
It's like if you're looking at it from a distance, like, oh, it's just like that.
right, yes.
A little bit closer. That's crazy. A lot of patience. Yes.
Well, yes, it's, here, let's, Solomon is a very, very famous artist. He's represented in every major museum around, and he just died in 2007. So his assignment was to integrate the new part of the museum with the old museum through lines and shapes. So, can you see how he worked that out? Okay, I'll give you a hint. That wall out there is part of the old museum.
Mimicking brick, right?
Right. Yeah, so you see we've got the brick from that used to be the art museum, just that old post office from 1898 was the art museum until 2006 when this was built. And before it was in the post office, the art museum was across the street, down in the basement, in an old building that's now an architect's office. So it's come a long way. It started in the 1920s across the street, and it was mostly an art institute where they did a lot of teaching. And then in the 1930s, somebody gave them a ton of money for the 1930s, and they moved to one of those big houses up on Fir Hill. And the art museum was there then for 3 whole years when it burned down. And we lost a ton of the collection, and they ended up back in the basement. So eventually, the post office decided to build that fancy new one up there that they don't use much anymore. And the art museum moved over here. So you see, Saul Lewitt took the idea of the bricks, and if you look around, you see all the angles. Yeah, and the angles, and integrated them here. But let me show you something. Saul Lewitt was not here. This is what the art museum got.
Oh, wow.
It's a color by number. And so the art museum hired other art students or people who were interested to come and work on this. Not now. So here's what it looked like. And it took a really, really long time to do this because every one of those blocks has 7 layers of paint.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
And if you just look at it, you see they have little color-coded pieces there, and the edges are all taped. And they had to be painted, they had to dry, they had to untape them, they had to retape them to do the ones next to it, da-da-da-da-da-da. So I hope, just the love and work that the people of Akron put in to create this up here on the wall is just incredible. Here's an example of Saul Lewitt's work that's in the MoMA in New York City. So you can see he's into the precision work.
Yeah.
We also, it's not on display now, we have a wonderful sculpture of his done with white pieces that builds like this giant brick. And then I just want to show you this because this was a fun time. I was here with a bunch of kids over there, and I looked up at the wall, and this was the reflection coming in on the wall.
So cool.
Do you recognize the shape?
Yeah, isn't that the logo?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Isn't that incredible?
Put that on the
That is
website.
crazy, isn't it? There's the hat.
Yeah. wow.
And I just came, I had all these kids over here, and I just came running over, wait, I have to take a picture. So I just love sharing that, because I just think that's so cool that on top of it all, we had the light coming in and
Reflecting a
reflection.
little.
Yeah. So I kind of hooked this in because we got the color, we got the shapes, but the intent is so much different. This is supposed to reflect exactly what's here, whereas the intent of that is to give you a land jam, give you a different way of visiting a landscape. So what do you think?
How long is the land jam going to be up? Do you know?
Either May 4 or May 24. I
Okay.
feel very confident saying May, and I know there's a 4.
It's good that we have the expert here with us. Yeah. So, I mean, now that you've been in here and you're comfortable with the space, bring other people. Thursdays are free.
I'll bring my little, he's in school. He's in second
Well,
grade.
no, but we're
if he
open
does-
in the evenings.
We're
on
open till 9
Thursdays.
p.m. now on Thursdays, yeah, so.
Come right after school, and like I said, the open studios there is actually hands-on activities for youngsters.
He would love that.
Yeah, and then if you've got one slightly older, we have an area on the other side with like board games, that are giant board games that you can play and stuff.
Hidden
So,
back there.
we were trying to,
I'll bring my husband.
yeah, bring your husband, yeah. Oh, yeah.
For all ages, for all kids.
All right, okay, well, yeah, we'll bring grandma to stay with the kid, and you and your husband can go over there and have a day and play some board games, yeah.
Well, thank
So
you
you're
for the
from
tour.
Youngstown.
Yeah, so we have the butler